Hi, everyone. I'm Tyler, and I'll be talking about competing values framework at the 55th Operations Group. The 55th Operations Group is composed of 2,900 members and contractors, operating in five major theaters with 27 reconnaissance aircraft utilized in five distinct missions under their purview. They have a yearly budget of $14 billion, and their primary mission is to fuel combatant and combined commands, as well as national policymakers with intelligence information. The Competing Values Framework overview was created by Robert Quinn and John Rohrbaugh. It is comprised of four categories: clan, adhocracy, market, and hierarchy, which are used to assess various components of how the organization functions. Organizational culture assessment is used in conjunction with this competing values framework and is divided into six organizational criteria: dominant characteristics, organizational leadership, management of employees, organizational glue, strategic emphasis, and criteria for success. And the answers reflect the competing values framework categories that we mentioned in the previous slide. It relies on employee assessment of two states: the how the employees currently assess the situation within the organization and how they assess what the organization would like to be. And it's conducted over two rounds. So they're used to identify and influence the resolution of organizational culture gaps. The OCAI was conducted with six respondents from within the operations group. Three of those respondents were prior service officers. One was a career officer, and two were senior enlisted non-commissioned officers. Their experience ranged from 2 years to 16 years within the organization, and the respondents were instructed to answer the now components based on how they currently feel the 55th Ops Group performs. Their preferred responses were instructed to take into account their espoused criteria based on things like the Air Force core values of integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do, their mission statement to fly, fight, and win, their vision statement to be the world's greatest Air Force powered by airmen and fueled by innovation, as well as a few key phrases that have entered the lexicon of 55th Ops Group leadership over the past years, like flexibility is the key to air power and accelerate change or lose. The results of the two phases from the OCAI are recorded in a single table and can be used to calculate the cultural gap for each organizational category. From these results, employees feel significant discrepancies in alignment for all four categories, but particularly the clan and hierarchy categories. The results from the OCAI can be plotted on a graph like this one for easy comparison, where the yellow polygon reflects the current state and the red reflects the preferred state. As a military organization, it's not uncommon to see a high degree of hierarchical control, particularly over things like budget or technology procurement. However, the assessment indicated that even that level experienced in the group currently is more than what the group itself would like to have, as well as there's an emphasis on over competition. Um, that's bleeding over from their market components and market desires for competition into an internal competition between employees for things like promotion or resources or acknowledgments. The second phase of the OCAI revealed that the ops group espouses values more consistent with a balanced approach, and the gap between the current and preferred states can be addressed by emphasizing collaboration, reducing overly bureaucratic processes, and reducing internal competition. Some proposed strategies included increasing transparency in technology procurement, empowering collaboration, starting with leadership at the squadron level, de-incentivizing internal competition through things like removal of the stratification during performance reviews, implementing liaison officers for subordinate units to keep apprised of what their sister functions are, as well as expanding successful operations like agile combat employment exercises and implementing all of these changes using proven managerial methodologies like SMART goals, Six Sigma Lean, or SWOT analysis under a change management umbrella. The path forward can be implemented in a phased rollout under a three-step change management model like Kurt Lewin's, unfreezing, changing, and refreezing. So phase one is our unfreezing phase, which is designed to increase transparency or accountability and decentralize underlying processes. And one of the ways that they can do that is with the technology procurement process by involving lower level employees into that process to give them some more agency and increase the transparency of how that process occurs. Phase two, or the change phase, focuses on building collaborative networks and increasing flexibility, which involves implementing the liaisons and expanding exercises focused on flexibility, like agile combat employment that we talked about earlier. Changes to employee evaluation systems should be made in this phase to reduce the incentive to compete with one another. And then finally, in phase three, or the refreezing phase, is where the ops group can standardize successful processes, assess stress points, and mitigate failed procedures while establishing a formal feedback mechanism to continue moving in the right direction. And their next step should focus on reassessing the organization's goals periodically and continuing to assess how their operations align those goals through continued OCAI and gap analysis.